Right, hello everyone. Now this wasn't my original plan to do this video with a snoring baby on me, but this is mom life, and I need to crack on with making this video about my thrifted and handmade Christmas gifts because soon I'm going to have to wrap them, and I've been kind of hiding these things that I wanted to film from my toddler, but she is pretty good at finding things, so I've had to hide it in our spare bedroom, and really I need to tidy it away into our closet so that she can't find it. But anyway, I wanted to come on to give you a few ideas of the things that I have bought secondhand this year for Christmas for my 4 girls. So for those of you who don't know, I've got 2 girls. This is baby, and then I have a toddler, and I have 2 stepdaughters who are 13-year-old twins. So this year, because there's now 4 young ladies in the house, I really wanted to make sure that things were fair. They're going to have the same number of gifts to open, and each of those gifts kind of has a theme. So they're going to receive something to wear, they're going to receive some books, they're going to get something to do, and they're also all going to get a new bathrobe, because they all need that. So I want to make sure that it's fair, and just show you a few ideas of things you can get, which are still lovely secondhand. And also a lot of these things I found you can't actually buy them new. They're just not the things that are in style anymore, unfortunately. So if you want some of this stuff, if you like a little bit of a vintage style like I do, or a little bit more traditional, you're gonna have to shop secondhand. But I have found so far that nobody has complained, and my toddler has now been receiving secondhand gifts pretty much since she was born. She was born just before Christmas 3 years ago. And because they grow so fast, and a lot of stuff in terms of toys, like, it's a little bit hit and miss whether they're gonna love it or not. So actually buying it secondhand and not spending a fortune and feeling guilty when then it gets broken, or the dogs have chewed a few things, or we just get rid of it because it's not being played with. But anyway, without further ado, the first things that I wanted to show you were actually a couple of things that I got for my toddler last year for her stocking secondhand. Just to give you an idea of kind of the stuff we've got historically and has lasted. I got her this little hat for her stocking, which makes her look like a little elf. I've never seen anything like this. And it's a hat that has a little pocket, and this little elf, if I can slide him in, he slides into the hat. So that was adorable. I couldn't resist that. I think that was about 50p in our local charity shop. And that's lasted, and I'll definitely be keeping it for next baby. The next thing that I got her last year, I really loved the idea you see in these vintage photos. Kind of little girls used to wear shawls, like when it was winter, it was cold, you know, they'd have a shawl, not just a scarf, but something a little bit more feminine and delicate wrapped around their shoulders. So I actually found her this in the women's section of a charity shop, but it just happened to be this kind of small size triangular knitted shawl. I just love the colors. It's so kind of hippy dippy, which is very much me from my past. Usually I wrap this around her neck a couple times. It's a little bit stretchy, so I can tie it. I've also previously kind of tied it over her head like a shawl, if it's been raining and I forgot to bring a hat. So this was a great buy as well, and I think that was about £1. Definitely will be keeping it for future babies, because it's lasted. Probably somebody made it by hand. They used beautiful wool. Again, if I wanted to buy something like this new, I probably would be going on Etsy and paying a lot for something handmade, which is great if you've got the money. If you don't have the money, and you're a little bit frugal, that's definitely how I was raised. My dad loved to take us to the charity shop. It was probably the highlight of our week, and he used to use it as a little bit of a bribe. So he'd say, look, we need to go down to the boat to work on the boat, because my dad had sailing boats. We'll go down to the boat for just a few hours, but afterwards we'll go to the thrift store. And the thrift store where I grew up in Canada was just amazing. Like, back in the day, you could still get pieces of clothing for like $1, you know, or 50 cents. You could always come away with a new toy, and nobody spent a fortune. There was always something new. The ladies in there were lovely, as ladies in charity shops always are. That's another good reason to shop at them, because the ladies are always so friendly. So yeah, I grew up on secondhand stuff as a kid, and that love has stayed with me for the rest of my life. So the next thing that actually I made, so this is a little bit of a mix. It's not just things that I've bought secondhand. I make a few gifts sometimes if it's, again, something that I just couldn't buy and it's not too complicated to make. So last year, I think it was last year, it might even have been the year before, I made my toddler these leg warmers from an old jumper of mine. They're a little bit muddy because she has worn them this week, so I'll just show you this side, which is the clean side. These are from a lamb's wool jumper, which I had for me and I loved, and I stupidly shrank it in the wash, and I thought, what am I going to do with this jumper? And initially I thought about making it into like a mini cardigan for her, kind of cropping it. And then I thought, well, what she really needs, a lot of the time kids don't really need a full waterproof set on, and they don't necessarily feel comfortable if they're wearing like 2 pairs of trousers on a cold day or tights under leggings. So I made these, which kind of at the time when she was a year went right up to her thigh, and because they're wool, if they got wet, I would just put them on the radiator when we get back from a walk. I would rinse them out, rinse the mud out, and they've lasted really well and keep her cozy. So these are kind of a nice go-to when I don't want to bring a full waterproof set with me, or she doesn't feel like wearing her waterproof trousers, which are a little bit bulky. Okay, so those are some things that I got in the past. This year, obviously, I said that everybody's getting some books, so I've gotten some secondhand books. I'm trying to buy some more classics. So we've got Gerald Durrell, My Family and Other Animals, which I think one of my stepdaughters will really like. She likes animal stories, and that's a little bit of escapism. And then I haven't seen a copy of Uncle Tom's Cabin in the UK for a long, long time. But again, I'm trying to get the older girls to read a few classics. They have read like Little Women they liked, they've read Emma, they've read The Railway Children, but even if they don't read it right away, they're pretty avid readers, so I tend to buy them stuff, and I know that if it's hanging around long enough, they get bored and they're like, okay, what new book can I read? So I'm hoping that they'll take an interest in some of these classics after Christmas. You'll have to excuse, my neighbors are having all of their windows done. These guys are working super hard, so if there's some background noise, it's because there's builders next door. So the next thing that I wanted to show you was some beautiful dresses. So as I said, the girls are all getting something to wear this year. The older girls aren't into dresses, so they're not going to get that, but the younger two don't have a choice. So I got this beautiful dress for my baby. It's from a brand that I haven't bought before. I found it on Vinted. I'm a big fan of Vinted when I can't get to the charity shops. It's called Sardon. I've never heard of it before, but I just love the detail. I thought it's going to make a nice Christmas dress. It's also really pretty, so I'll keep it. And now I'm kind of trying to go, when I buy stuff for the girls, now that I've got 2 girls of my own, things that I really love and I'm either willing to keep and store for a future baby or pass down to a relative or a friend. I went through a phase of kind of buying really cheap stuff that I wasn't so keen on how it looked, and it does make a difference when it's pretty. I think there's a lot of beauty in these old-fashioned kids' clothes, so I buy those now rather than stuff from the shops. The next thing is this very extravagant dress for my toddler. As you can see, there's quite a bit of netting underneath the skirt. Because it's her birthday in December as well, I wanted to get her something really beautiful to either wear at her birthday, so she might be getting this for her birthday, or at church. We'll go to quite a few special church services over Christmas, and that's just such a lovely time if you have a special dress to wear it. We don't wear fancy dresses like this every week to church. I mean, she does wear a dress to church, but something like this would just be, I think, too special. So having something for her to wear at Christmas, I haven't seen something like this, again, new in the shops. I just loved the sash. It felt kind of very like Jane Austen to me, so I couldn't resist that. It is actually new with tags, although I bought it from Vinted, so that was great. That was, I think, maybe like £7 with postage, so that was nice. That's her thing to wear. And then both of my younger girls in their stockings this year are getting a toy. They're getting secondhand toys. I'm trying to kind of declutter toys generally. I don't like them having too many stuffed toys, which is what everybody always buys them, but that's life. I think as a parent you have to sort out stuffed toys or just live with a huge pile of them. But I couldn't resist this dog, who I thought was very handsome. He's a knitted dog, which I haven't seen before, and he has knitted removable clothes. So that's going to be for my baby, because I think she's getting to the stage where it'd be nice for her to have a couple of toys of her own. Right now, Big Sister is kind of taking all of the toys that anybody gives to the baby, end up being Big Sister's toys. So I think if it comes from Santa, it'll be safe. I paid, I think maybe £4 for this guy from Vinted, including postage, and that will be her one toy to open from her stocking. For my toddler, what she's getting, and just pull it out of the bag, is a rag doll. So these rag dolls are called cloth kits. It's difficult to say, cloth kits. Some of you might have heard of them before. They're vintage, kind of from the 1970s. They were very popular in the UK. She already has 4 cloth kit dolls, which is kind of a little family at this point. And I got those all on Vinted. I think one of them was like £8, and then someone was selling the other 3 as a set for like £3 or something ridiculous. So I snapped them up because they're A, quite collectible now, and B, you just don't get anything like this in the shop. So she's very cute, but she didn't come with clothes. So what I'm going to do is, when she's in the stocking, she's going to wear an outfit from one of the other dollies because they've come with spare clothes. And my toddler won't realize she isn't at the stage where she kind of dresses or undresses the dolls. I have to do that apparently. So I think I'll get away with the fact that this doll will be a new doll in clothes that we already have for the dollies, because we've got a few spare changes of clothes. So that's another thing which is for my toddler's stocking. I also got her this lovely handmade cardigan. Again, I bought this on Vinted, but you can find things like this in the charity shop a lot of the time. There's just always lovely older ladies who can still knit beautifully like this, and they either make them for the charity shops to raise money for the charity, or they just end up getting donated because often it's not people's style. But I love the red. My toddler currently has a red knitted cardigan which was handmade for her, and it's just so cheery. Like, maybe red doesn't go with everything, but there's just something about a child wearing a bright cheery color like that that brings a smile to your face. So I realized she needs another red cardigan or something with red in it for this next year, as she's almost outgrown the other one. This one has a little peplum hem, which is quite unique, and it also has, I don't know if you can see, it has butterfly buttons, which I think she'll like because she likes bugs. So yeah, this will be maybe her thing to wear for Christmas. Maybe the dress will be for her birthday. I haven't decided. But again, because I have these themes, I'm making sure that I don't overbuy. Like, they don't need more than one thing to open for the something to wear category, and the same with the books. So I haven't got it here, but for my toddler, my husband and I kind of did a bit of research into vintage fairy stories, fairy tales. And there's someone called Andrew Lang. I don't really know when he was writing. I don't know enough about him, but he did these collections of fairy stories from around the world, based on color. I think it was just the color of the book, but there's the blue fairy book, the yellow fairy book, the purple fairy book. They're not in print anymore, I don't think. So we just decided to try one of those. So I've bought her the blue fairy book for Christmas, so that will be her book to open. And I'm thinking for the baby, we love these stories called Little Grey Rabbit. Some of you might have read Little Grey Rabbit's Christmas. I'll link it in the description because it's just beautiful. And I read that one year because someone gave us that at Christmas, and I realized it's such a beautiful book and the characters are lovely, and there's a whole series about this little grey rabbit and her friends in the English countryside. Very traditional. They make cakes, they go calling on the wise owl and the mole, and they watch ladies painting in the fields and things like that, gather feathers to paint themselves. So probably because I would like some more of those books for my girls as a gift for the baby, who won't know what she's getting anyway, she'll get a couple of those books to open, which will be nice. Oh yeah, and then the other thing, I do tend to, obviously at this stage my toddler isn't going to be buying really or making gifts for her older sisters, but I like to make sure that they have something from her because they're not with us all the time. So Christmas is quite a special time. And she's getting a little bit into beading, so I helped her. I don't know if you can see, but she's made them both like a little bracelet like this. I've also got them something to open from her, which is something to do because she likes to do things with them, and also because they have certain interests. Like, one of them loves to do beading and jewelry and kind of weaving, and the other one likes to paint. So my toddler is picking that up from them, so she now loves to paint. So I thought, well, for the one who loves to paint, I'll get her a new paint set because my toddler's kind of been sharing the paints with the older girl, which isn't really fair. So my toddler will get the hand-me-downs and the big girl will get brand new paints. And then the other one will get like a beading set because I thought she can do it herself. She can make friendship bracelets for her friends, which are coming back in. Those are a cool thing again now. and then maybe she can do some beading with my toddler, which will be a fun thing to do around the fire on Christmas, hopefully.
Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you don't already subscribe, it would be lovely to have you here. I do weekly videos all about femininity, homemaking in the English countryside, being a mum of 2, backyard chickens, and so much more. I also wanted to share with you a few ideas of things that I've been making this year for Christmas. One of them is some handmade paper garlands. I love doing different ones of these every year, finding different vintage prints and cute little images that I love. Often it's angels or fairies or something related to my girls, and I always put up some special paper decorations for my toddler's birthday in December, which is what I'm working on here. I've also been busy making my baby a little knitted scarf, and when my toddler was about a year old I made one for her just because they have such little necks. It's an easy thing to knit, and it feels really special to be doing this in my spare time, just to make her something slowly that's made with love. For my mother-in-law who's coming for Christmas, I'll be making her some homemade beauty items. This is some body butter I've been working on. I might also make her some cuticle cream and some face oil. I make all of these for myself and for my teens as well. It's not tricky and it's lots of fun. This is the paper garland I made for my kitchen, which I love, just looking at these doves and angels every day now, and that was free for me to do. I just used some leftover ribbon, printed these out, and put them up around the house. And my toddler and I have also been working on some painting for some homemade Christmas cards. So everyone who's getting a Christmas card from us this year will be getting a little bit of a painting she did. So it's been made with love. And that's what Christmas is all about, really. The people that you love and showing them that you care and spending special time with them. I hope this video gives you a little bit of inspiration for your upcoming Christmas and that you have a wonderful time with your family this season. I hope to see you all here again soon for the next video, but in the meantime, take good care everybody, and God bless.